right, welcome to day 14 of Math ACT Prep. Today, your bell ringer activity is going to be finding the factors of each number. Remember that the factors are going to be two numbers. When multiplied together, they equal that number. And most people tend to forget that every number will always have the factors of the number 1 and itself. Then they ask you that if the number is prime, to circle it, and a number is prime if the only factors it has are the number 1 and itself. So pause the video and do the bell ringer activity. Again, this is a self-assessment to see if you know this. Okay, great. Now that you've completed the bell ringer, we are going to check your answers. So when you do these, 19 and 61 end up being prime numbers. The other ones you can see here. 126 tends to be difficult, and I have taught this one to use bookends. I start with 126, I do bookends, I do the number 1, and I do the number 126 over here. And then I just count up from 1. From 1, then you go 2. Is 126 divisible by 2? Obviously it is. It is a even number, so that would be 63. Is it divisible by 3? Yes, it is. That ends up being, what, 42? So I put that here. Is it divisible by 4? No. You can check these with your calculator. Is it divisible by 5? No. Is it divisible by 6? Yes. And that number ends up being 21. Is it divisible by 7? Amazingly, yes. That number ends up being 18. Is it divisible by 8? No. Is it divisible by 9? Yes. That number ends up being 14. And then you check, is it divisible by 10? No. 11? No. 12? No. 13? No. 14, we get right back to over here. So that gives me my entire list. I have found that's the best way to find all the factors. It's easy for numbers like 25, but when you get to 126, yeah, it just becomes really, really difficult. Least common multiple, again, you can go into your calculator. It is on a TI-84, it is math. And then you arrow over to number, and then it is option 8. And that will give you LCM, and you can only do it for 2 numbers. So like on the first one, you could do 6, 10, and then find out whatever that answer is, and then do it again, LCM of whatever that answer was, and 45. And that will give you 90. So today we're going to get into geometry a little bit with perimeter and area of a rectangle. These are definitely things I use in everyday life. One day you are going to have an apartment, you are going to have a house, you're going to calculate perimeter. I think of that if in the backyard, that's putting up a fence. Area is going to be the actual grass in the backyard, or if you're putting down carpet in a room, hardwood floors. So perimeter, this is going to be the distance around a figure. If you're going to enclose something. Perimeter, technically, we're adding up all the sides. So if we're talking about a circle doesn't have sides. So we call that a circumference, and that's going to be a different lesson. But when we're talking about polygons have sides, so we're going to use perimeter. We have to know all the lengths of the sides to calculate perimeter. So here we've got 2 different shapes. The first one is a rectangle. And when we have certain polygons, we can have different formulas. We know that opposite sides of a rectangle are congruent. So we really only have to measure two sides. We only have to measure the length and the width. And we can double the length, double the width, add them together. This irregular shape here, we need to add up all the sides. We really can't shortcut anything. We can't double the width plus double the length. We just have to add them all up. Triangle, same thing. We just need to add up all the sides. So for a rectangle, we know that that is a quadrilateral. It's a parallelogram with 4 right angles, and those angles are 90 degrees. When we calculate the area of a rectangle, we want to determine how much space is inside. So again, if it's a room, how much carpet can we put in that area? How much hardwood flooring can we lay down or tile? So the area of a rectangle is going to be length times width. So here is an ACT example. The key word here is going to be rectangular table. And then we've got area. So we have a rectangular table. It has an area of 80 square feet. So we know the area equals 80 square feet. And we have a width of 5 feet. So we're dealing with the area formula. So you know that area is equal to length times width. So now fill in what you know. We know the area is 80. We don't know what the length is, but we know that the width is 5. So to solve for length, we divide both sides by 5. And you know that the length is equal to, what goes in there, what, 16? So the answer is, and I wrote over what they did, the length is 16. So answer C. All right, so now pause the video. You've got 7 questions. And once you're done with those 7 questions, then you can come back on and I will go over the answers with you. Okay. So now you've tried all those on your own. Hopefully everybody's getting really good with the 7 minutes and you're not needing all of it. So first one, what is the perimeter of a keyword here? Isosceles, right triangle. If it's an isosceles, you're supposed to know from geometry that that means it is a triangle with 2 congruent sides. So if the side, whoa, ew, I drew this totally wrong. Yes, isosceles right triangle. So it has a right angle, 2 congruent sides. So that means this side is a 5, this side is a 5. So you might be saying, how am I supposed to know what the third side is? Well, if it's a right triangle, you can always use Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals what? C squared. Now, you're going to get to a section in geometry where you learn trig, because I know immediately from trig that this is going to be 5 times the square root of 2. So when you get to trig, pay attention, because I don't even have to do this Pythagorean Theorem. So the perimeter is going to be add up all the sides. So 5 plus 5 is 10 plus square root of 2. 5 plus square root of 2, answer C. Oops, it gave all the answers. So here you've got a rectangle. Area is 42. Length of 7. We just did a problem like that. So it's 42 equals length times width. So it's 42 divided by 7. That's going to give you a width of 6. Now, how many of you ran over here and circled 6? It didn't ask you for the width. It asked you for what? Perimeter. You got to read the question. Trust me, it got me on this the first time I did it. I circled 6 too. Got to read the question. So if it's perimeter, then I've got to do 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7, that's 26. Here, if the area of the rectangle, they want to know what the area of the shaded region is in relation to the big one. So if we look at this, this is a 4 by 4. Okay, so 4 times 4 versus a, what is this, a 5 by 6. So 4 times 4 over 5 times 6. Yeah, kind of self-explanatory. Oh, and I did it to myself again. I cut off the top. So let me use my book. Okay, here is a rectangle. It is 2 and square root of 7 feet wide and 3 and square root of 7 feet long. What is the area in square feet of the rectangle? Well, this is where you're going to do 2 square root of 7 times 3 square root of 7. Now, you're probably freaking out going, how do I do this? Well, one, use calculator. But 2 square root of 7 times square root of 7 is 7. 2 times 3 is 6. What's 7 times 6? 42. Yeah. Square root of 7 times square root of 7, 7. Now this one's a little bit trickier. They are wanting to install this pool in their backyard. They're enclosing it with a fence. They want to know how much fencing they need. So you got to think, they only need a fence for this because they're using part of the house. So you got to kind of figure out what this measurement is here and what this is. So we know we've got 75 feet for the fencing, and we have 2 50 feet. 50 and 50. So you could add up, you know it's already 175, so we know it's not this, and we know it's not this. Okay? And I know it's not going to be another 75, so I know it's not this. And I can probably guess it's not that. Honestly, I really could. But you can pretty much figure out, since the house here is 40, that from here to here is 40, so the remaining part is going to be plus 35, and that's how you get the 210. So now in the next one, they're saying if we add 3 feet of concrete all the way around this pool, 3 feet, so let's draw it. What is going to be the area of the grass remaining inside the fenced-in yard? Okay. So you got to think, if we go 3 feet here, that's going to make this, if this is 30 feet, we got to add 3 feet on this side and 3 feet on this side. So that's now going to make this 36 feet. If this is 15 feet, we got to add 3 feet this way and 3 feet this way. So that's going to make this now 21 feet. Most people only add 3 feet. So now you've got to calculate that. So we're going to have 50 feet minus 21 feet. So that means now we're only going to have, what is that, 19? Oh, no, sorry. I'm doing it totally wrong. So we calculate 75 feet, oops, times 50. And that gives us the full area of the grass. And then we're going to subtract the area of the pool and the concrete, which is 36 feet times the 21 feet. And that is where you get the 2,994 square feet of grass. Yep. Hope that helps. All right, so now I want you to, oh, we got one more. The area of the pool and concrete is what percentage of the yard? So now you need to go back and you can use your measurements from before. What is 75 times 50? and then this measurement here, the 36 by 21, and do whatever the amount is, the 36 by 21 divided by the 75 times 50, and that's going to give you the 20.16. All right, so now let's look at the exit ticket for day 4, okay? So your exit ticket for day 4 is, this is a doozy. Yeah, so you better pay attention. This one says, explain why you only need the measurement of one side of a rectangle to calculate the perimeter if you are also given the area. Now, we did several problems like this. We did several, okay? So, hold on, let me see if I can get to what I want. Share screen. Oh, whiteboard here. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on a whiteboard. So remember when we had the area, I think it was, the area was 80, and we were given one side, which let's just say it was 8. And we're not given the width. Okay, they're asking for perimeter. I don't need both side lengths if I'm given the area, because did we not calculate what the width was? You need to explain to me this entire process of how, if I give you the area and only one side length, the entire process of how you can then calculate the perimeter. And it starts here. This is one we already did. If you need, you can write it out 100% in words, or if you need to do the math with it to show me, that works too. A lot of people get a lot of points off on this one. You should be able to show it to your parents, and your parents understand the entire process. You can't go, Miss Edwards, you understood what I meant. No, I understand math. No, a stranger needs to understand it. So again, you're going to be starting with what I have right here, but you need to walk me through the process of how I go from having the area and one side length to now being able to calculate the perimeter. Don't just go, oh, you can do it. The paper says I can do it. You got to tell me how I can do it. Okay? Got it? And again, if you're still unsure after the video, you need to ask me when you come to class. All right? All right. Happy solving, and I will see you when you get to class. Bye.